And so someone could hold the judgment that that couldn't work.
Mm.
Until the moment they could see proof or validation. But do you see how they will only find what they look for? Now, sometimes there's a big enough breakthrough that it like it's obvious. That is the importance of seeing this space.
Mm. Mm.
As we all focused our attention to healing health for Allison. Yeah. Like, what did we like? So, what if nothing comes from that? It's like,
Always enough if nothing is evident,
that's right.
right?
Yes. It's like the point is the judging of that.
Mm.
Just someone. There was a time I would say that's weird. I'm not going to participate. Right? There was a time that that was there for me.
Mm. I think that's why Lynn McTaggart's work is so important, because she did the she did the work to provide the evidence, um, and then there was a lot more that came from it, right? They found that that people who participated in the giving of the energy benefited just as much.
A judger couldn't allow either of those options to happen.
Yeah.
Like myself, like it was. So if it's not possible for me, then it is not possible.
Mm.
Now, it doesn't mean that would not ever happen or that I couldn't ever change it. It but that is the power of the creator we are.
Mm.
Don't know if this is the right word. I believe it's called Occam's law or something like that, where you say if you do it, uh, what will you lose by doing it? And if nothing happens,
Mm.
and what if
Exactly.
something happens? Then you have the gain from it. So why not just do it? And remember
Yes.
the law exactly.
That was, thank you, Heinz. That was in the train of like that was in the thought that I was working. Yeah. Thank you.
So that requires, what does that require? A willingness, right? Willingness to step through one's own awkwardness.
With no expectation.
Ah. That's key.
Yeah. The expectation is the limitation.
Yes.
But expectations are usually a good thing. How can that be?
Expectations can be a shortcut for us, right? Which is a good thing.
They can also be a bad thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you expect to get hurt, then you're feeding the fear instead.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a dare to practice something I heard of, something I think I experienced, something I want to be able to do, but it's elusive because it's not a norm practice. Like some people will practice that kind of energy because they're familiar with saying, oh, let's pray without wrath and doubting, pray. That's energy towards someone.
Mm-hmm.
But for us in an unpraying state, yet a meditative energy, we are not admonished or encouraged, or it may not be the norm to just practice it the way we practiced it.
Mm.
So the shortcut is, if we're endowed with this energy beingness, but we don't use it, we to trust ourselves, we set it up somewhere without accountability and hope that it will come down and do the same thing when we've been, it's like you don't have to mail it to me to give it to her. You can just give it to her. It's like, oh, I can do that. Yeah. Like, yeah. So, but we don't practice that.
Mm.
But we'll trust a doctor to just do what they do because it's material action.
Mm.
But
Mm.
we have spiritual endowment in us. And I am curious about it. I am just judged quirky enough to let's try that. It's like when God came and gave the three men coins, he didn't say, let me give it to you so you can give it to me so that you can have it. He said, no, do something with it. So this is me being curious about enough about the beingness that I am and we are to do it together and have the result just as if it came down directly from above, from some unknown, uncontainable factor. We hold it. I believe we hold it, but it's been so dormant in us that it will not be activated until we engage with it to activate. So I'm willing to, my mind keeps going toward this thing of healing. And I remember one time I was living in Atlanta and that's what I want to do. I want to heal people. And I was talking to a man who testified having that healing power, but because he couldn't work it on someone who he loved dearly, he cast it away. He was mad at it. He shut it down. And I was like, well, if that's true, I want to heal people. And I started praying for healing hands. But I didn't know how to actively activate it. So over the years, it's come back again, little subtleties. Over when it's time, it will be of a fuller engagement. But if you get just a little relief in the collective fashion of what it does for you, it does for me. What it does for you, it does for everyone that participated. A doctor who completes a heart surgery and the person lives, what does that do for the doctor? It's like, oh man, they got
Exactly.
through. They living, they're breathing,
Yeah.
It gives him more encouragement to say, I'm a heart surgeon. Yes, that's what I am. That's what I do. That's what I engage in. But what do you practice? I practice heart surgery. What do I practice? Healing, spiritual hand healing, whether it be on the person or distant, it doesn't matter.
Ooh, and what do I practice? Taking the complex to make it simple.
Yes. Yes.
And it is so useful.
Yeah. The real simple one is I speak it, and so it is. I spoke it into existence. You're healed. Okay, done. Next. What's up? No time for doubting. When you know it works, it works.
Yep. Well, and that's what I've learned about the expectations, right? The expectations are my limitations that say it has to show up like this. I'm not creating any space for it to be any different. Creation is so much bigger than just that for me. Now. And so so we can have expectations that we get frustrated with because they're not turning up how we think they should. Like we could control that. Like there's a fallacy that thinks that we should be able to control it to turn out this way. And in the time frame we want. And then we begin to doubt, judge, blame because we're looking for the proof that it has to look like this when it could be being all the way around us. We're just not seeing it. So those expectations are just future resentments.
Wow.
Whoa is right. Future resentments. Whoa. Whoa. Let's put that in check.
It's so true, though.
Future resentments.
When it could be all right there the whole time.
Yes.
The resentments, or what would be there without the blockage of the resentments?
Yeah, depends on which one you're attached to.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think I become aware of the resentments, and then I can like dispel them. You can't
Yes.
move or course correct what you're not aware of.
Mhm.
Exactly. Which is why what we practice here is so fundamentally important.
Yes. So I yesterday I said I was going to share something. I put the link in today in the comments. Anyone who wants to can grab that and do that little assessments. For me, it made me more aware of underlining resentments. They call them saboteurs, and how they show up. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know what that is. And then it's just a choice of sage power to change it. Now, sometimes I find myself, I'm like, I need to sit in that for a minute, because really, is that what I'm doing? It gives me an awareness. And so it shines a light on it enough for me to be aware of it. And then it's like, okay, but I got the choice to change that. What do you want? You want to sit in the resentment, or you want to sit in the flow? You want to create in resentment, brake pedal, brake gas. Or do you want to take your foot off the brake? Oh, you still got your foot on the brake. You're afraid of what the possibility of what could be. Are you ready? Are you trusting? Okay, take your foot off the brake. Let it go and go. So that tool has given me an awareness of things that I do habitually that have developed over the course of my whole lifetime. Survival mechanisms.
Mm-hmm.
And I love being aware, even when I don't like it. I'm like, that's not me. Yes, it is, girl. Yes, it is.
And so if you ask someone, it's like, oh, well, how aware are you? And it's like, oh, yeah, I'm super aware. Like that's the answer. It's like, oh, I'm obvious aware of what's going on. Like I'm always aware. Right? Now, there's layers to awareness, and our easiest, most obvious one is aware what other people are doing.
Yes.
I don't call that self-awareness. Because I think that's the next layer that's a little more challenging because we have to look at those judgments, those validations, those blames. We have to look at our automatics and not necessarily like them.
Right. Right.
But the good point is that is awareness. And it's the only way that you can change them, right? By aware, allow, accept. Oh, that is what I do. So I've taken this survey, very good saboteur, like view. And what I found when I took it is that each question I would say, oh, in this situation, boom, I would answer it because of this situation. Oh, and then in this next question, oh, I'd answer it over here because of that situation. So not a problem, right? It like painted a good picture of all of my relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
not a problem. But what I found was what was important was the awareness of why did I attach that question to that situation.
Right.
And so then if I like answered that, if I answered that assessment with the focus of one of those situations, and if I could keep my focus through that the whole time, then what it would tell me is this is my automatic for that situation.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Power just at another layer, another level. So in one situation, I don't remember what it was. It was the achiever, right? The achiever. One overall was the achiever, but then in one situation was the avoider.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those are two different ends.
Yep.
One's a real big pusher, right? Pusher, and then the other one's is like a complete surrender, like a retreat. Avoid to get away from it. It's like, look at the dynamic.
Yes.
They're opposites, Jess.
They
Right?
are the opposite, exactly.
Mm.
And the high achiever would say, "Oh no, there's no way that I avoid that." It's like,
Yes. There goes the dance, the balance. Like
that's right.
it's like it's like it's like someone who achieves well at school. I got an A. I get an A. I'm a 4.9 out of a 4.0. Blah 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 blah. But in personal relationships, like where you are an achiever in one, you may be an avoider, in relationships. And it's like, I'm not having that conversation. I don't exist. Let me just go over here and study something and be really great at what I'm already great at. And it can take and the thing is, we all have talents and gifts and capacities. And we tend to go to the things that we're already strong at, but we overuse those plays.
Mm.
And it takes away from the development of other aspects that can assist us in having, for example, better relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized it, and I've even said it here, it's like, I'm a great mom. I feel good being a mom. I go into super mode. My kids got an issue. Da-da, da-da, super mom. I'm energized. I'm motivated. I'm clear. I'm focused. I'm resilient. I fix. I'm like, but for my own stuff, I'm like, where's that energy? Where's the super mom in me for me?
Mm-hmm.
The avoider comes up. I'm like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
But that phone ring and the kids call, da-da, da-da, da-da.
Mm-hmm.
In the very pit of being an avoider with my own stuff and not having energy or not having focus or not taking action. I'm like, oh, I need to transfer some of that mom energy over here. What would that feel and look like for me? So I tell Supermom, calm down. When the kids call, you don't have to jump into super action hero mode. And what happens when they're not calling? What do you do with that energy?
Mm-hmm.
I'm over, it's overstimulation, it's overreaction, mom, you're doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
So then I have to sit with myself in the avoider frame and go, oh, there's an area where you and only you need to take action in the direction of your beingness, for your well-beingness. And then, it becomes, something to work on. Something to give space to. Okay, you've been sitting here for 4 hours. What's your what? Did you make the phone calls? Did you check your calendar? Did you check your assessments? Did you get your workout in? And it's like, okay, these are the things that I do. And let me do those things in those hours with some sprinkle of super mommy mode on it, so that when they do call, I'm in a good position to do without sacrificing for them.
Mhm.
And it becomes more doing with them than doing for them. And it
Yes.
becomes more doing by my presence and being a model to show them that I I've been able to do something out of nothing, and let me focus my support in your spirit. I'm here, but the power is you doing it.
Yeah. So what that brings up for me again, Sindrel, is when I got to learn a little bit more about Tibetan Buddhism. And one of their central concepts is that whatever we do for everybody. Because whatever we do is informed by an energy. And that energy is something that we're informing and infusing more energy with. So, in other words, when you do something, and I'll go very basic and crude, if you do something out of ego, you're going to fuel the vibrations of ego. If you do something with humility and compassion, then you're going to fuel the vibrations of humility and compassion. And for me, it's such a profound teaching that. It's an awareness of how deeply we are connected. At a totally fundamental level. And that, in essence, is building karma.
I like this conversation, and it helps you to check your motivations for something, so that whatever the outcome is, that if your intention is humility, but it exercises out of ego, it is to really set the ego down and help dissolve its presence, and to come from a place of humility, ease, and flow.
Yeah, and even I think it's even allowing egoic presence, but dumbing down the dominance.
Yes. The ego, I think the good thing is when ego and humility
Yes.
can have the intentional force of perpetuating the highest good and the highest order of what's
Yeah.
needed right now.
Collaborate with each other, right?
Mm-hmm. It's almost like ego can be masculine and humility can be feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And they dance together. Beautiful waltz.
That's a beautiful analogy. There's so much beauty in the world, hey?
And at first, that dance might not look very good, feel good. It might be uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
So, yes, what you'll see is like, oh, well, is that like what is informing it, right? It's information. It's an emotion that's uncomfortable because you're doing something different. Surrendering the ego to see what else there is. It's okay. You don't have to fight to be right.
Mm.
And you don't have to be apologetic to be wrong as you learn, stepping on ego, stepping on humility's toes, and humility not wanting to, being awkward in the arms of ego, trusting, giving ego another opportunity to be trusted.
Right, wrong is just a judgment. Good, bad, hot, cold, light, dark, heavy, light, hard, soft.
And they're just measures.
Just measures, not judgments. So if we can see them as just measures, oh, wow, we're free. We're free. We've surrendered that judgment. Oh, how much space is in that? How much freedom, liberation is in that?
Ego is a teacher. Humility is a teacher of each other. And together, the measurements can be adjusted and tweaked. Because there are some circumstances where ego has to rise up, where there's too much humility under certain circumstances, like when someone continues to, thinks it's okay to bully you. They might have to meet a little bit of that ego to come up, to rise up, and to advocate.
Yes, and for me, that's a form of compassion,
Yes.
right? Because compassion is the guardian of connection, collaboration, and creation. Yeah. Creation can go either way.
Yes.
I guess the other two could too, coming to think of it. So then what is compassion the guardian of?
The first thing that came to me of ease and flow. I gotta take this call. God bless you all.
Bless you, Sandral. Thank you. I think for me, compassion is a guardian of life, and I don't know how else to describe that. Maybe it's the guardian of equilibrium. In life, equilibrium and diversity. Love.
What are we thinking about?
I'm back. Um, I was just noodling what compassion is, what com, like what does compassion give guardianship to? And what I had was connection, collaboration, creation. And then I doubled back and I thought, okay, but those can go either way. And so then I thought, well, it feels like it's the guardian of life and love. Guardian of love and in life.
So that takes me to one of my paintings called Sky, Guardian of the Grace. That's compassion, and it's the muse of ease and flow. Ease and flow.
That brings up that saying for me, Sandro. There by the grace of God go I.
Now, I have never perceived that line as ease and flow. I've received it as seeing someone in a situation that I would preferentially would not want to be in. But I could potentially, any wind could blow, that life's fragility, that even I could be in that situation. And for that, my compassion is opened up and amplified, that I offer compassion toward that situation, and thankful that I'm not in that situation. It's almost like, putting it bluntly, it's like having pity on someone's situation and glad it's not me.
And it can also just be an honoring of the other person's situation, a deep honoring.
And how yet they survive, and sometimes you get to witness thriving. And still take away the veil of judgment, because you would think that a homeless person pushing a cart wants a hot shower and hot food and a place to stay, and you offer that and they're like, no, I'm fine. Like, don't look down on me and judge me. I'm good. You're the one with the issues. Like, oh, okay. You say so.
The strength of the human spirit. It's like a spider web. In terms of, and by that I mean the material that a spider web is made from. It's almost invisible, but it is so strong.
And that's what we get to do here, is to recognize the presence of mindset structures that are the webs that are invisible but strong.
Mm.
Thank you for bringing the word up, noodling again. I need I need that today for creations.
Mm. It's such a great word, that.
Yeah. It makes things that I could potentially be avoiding more compelling and fun.
Mm.
Let me just noodle that application. Let's see what comes up. Let's see how that comes up.
Mm.
So I was playing with another word, apply. Apply yourself. Apply.
Mm. Engage.
Mm-hmm. Because I believe I'm still have some deep ridges of always getting the A pluses. No matter what I did, I just, I was my work just came out good. My handwriting was good, my writing was good, my math was good. I mean, A plus, A plus, A plus, extra bonus points. Oh, it was just part of the work. I didn't just do 1 through 10. I did the other 5 too, but I just perceived it as something to do. So I always got the extra credits, and with ease and flow, with ease and flow, with ease and flow.
Mm.
Sometime with some curiosity having to be exercised and go, oh, okay, let me do it this way. But then when I got out of the environment that I was in another environment, things didn't come to me. I didn't exercise having to stretch into the unknowingness, not even knowing the rules. And so now I look at where I have to apply myself to bring together wits and resources and figure stuff out along the way. And to do that, you have to apply yourself without knowing, like, the end result that you're seeking, but you don't know the roadmap to get there with a surety. So you really have to put yourself into what you're doing to learn and grow in new areas. To get what you say you want as the end result. And it's like sacrificing yourself for something, to go through the pain of it, to go through the anguish, to go through the unknowingness, to go through the awkwardness of stepping on toes and getting your toes stepped on.
Mm.
Because sometimes we want to know, if I go down this road, is it going to be worth it? Well, you'll never know until you go down that road without turning back. just because it gets where you have to sit down and noodle.
Mm.
That's all you got is a this and a that, and you're not quite sure how it's coming together.
Mm.
We exercise our spirits and our minds here. Are you exercising your body too?
Mm. So important, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, everybody, for this morning.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to go for today. Have a wonderful, wonderful day ahead.
Have a
Thank
pleasant
you.
day.
Thank you all.
You all have a wonderful day.
Yeah.
Peace and love.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.